We are here with Goe, who represented Ukraine in both 2020 and 2021, placing fifth in the contest in 2021 with their incredible song Shum. Thank you to you both so much for being here. We're so excited to speak to you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Can you talk about how the idea came about of combining such a digital kind of music as something like EDM with very traditional instruments like the sopilka and the talanka?
I was thinking about combining electronic music with something else, and I was thinking about that something else, what would it be? And during my trip to India, I heard a girl singing the Ukrainian traditional folk song in India. And for me, I considered that as a sign. So I started to look for a female singer who can sing in a folk voice, and that's how I met Kate.
Many people trying to sing in folklore, but it's like folklore and some folk instrument. We want to be interesting. We need to combine our old experience and our future. It's classical music, it's electronic music, it's indie music, rock music a lot, and it helped me to combine everything. Folk song helps me to understand what our ancestor was thinking, was feeling. It helped me understand our ancestors' values. And now we can combine it with techno music, with rock music. It can be popular music right now.
You draw heavily on folklore in your lyrics. Can you talk about sort of your background in the subject?
It was my granny. I born in a small city in Ukraine, and grannies around me all time singing Ukrainian folk music. Before many years, I feel that I need to come back to this to find my voice and to make something different. Many times I try to be a rock star, and I can growling and I sing in pop music, but when I start to sing folklore, I feel much better.
Reading along with a lot of the lyrics, this idea of spring coming, making it through dark times and triumphing, like obviously Shum has that at the center of it, but also Vesnyanka.
So at first you need to know that in Ukrainian culture, there is a genre of song called Vesnyanka, which means a spring song. Spring is a beginning of a new circle and a new life. For me, spring means a hope for a better future.
Remember, I was just trying to write some tunes, and I come up with this like drum and bass part. And I thought like, okay, it would be a good thing to put some folklore lyrics on it. And then in a few hours, I met Kate when she said like, okay, so I was going here by bus and I was like singing some folk songs in my mind. And this guy was listening to drum and bass in his headphones. So I think we should do like a drum and bass song with folk vocals. And I'm like, okay, that's just what I was thinking just a couple minutes ago.
To move to Eurovision, what was your relationship with the contest growing up?
The first glimpse of Eurovision that I had was, I believe, in 2004, when Ruslana won Eurovision. I realized that it's a good place to find some new interesting artists, some really outstanding songs.
Yes, for me, it was Ruslana. It's very interesting because in that moment I was in hospital and doctors tell me that I will die. I was in my bed and I saw Ruslana thinking, oh, it's cool. It will be great to be like Ruslana.
I mean, that is a movie right there.
So then talking about your first almost Eurovision experience in 2020. For both of you, can you talk a little bit about what that emotional experience was like? Finding out that you were going to represent Ukraine and then finding out that the contest was canceled.
I remember us standing on the stage and waiting for the announcement of who would win the national selection. And then I realized that it's us. We came to our national selection without any like managers, PR specialists, or some other kind of a big team. So then we started preparing and we received a text message on our phones. They said, okay, coronavirus, pandemic, Eurovision has been canceled. We're like, okay, what do we do now? 10 minutes go by and another text message. I think you're going to be Ukraine's representative for the next year's Eurovision. Like, okay, so we need to do another song.
I remember them talking when they said, no, we can't do the same songs. But that is an intense 15 minutes.
For me, it was a chance to make another song more deeper, because Soloway, it was a great song, but it was a song about girl, about boy, about strange love. Shum, it's a more global song, and I was happy that we can make something another. But to tell the truth, first we did not send Shum. We released this song before voting, and it became popular. And jury asked us to include the song to list.
Basically, we were thinking about Shum as a song for our live shows. We hope pandemic soon will be over. We will start doing live shows, and we need a good song for everybody to dance to. And then when our Ukrainian jury said, send us those songs, you've been preparing for Eurovision, but also send the Shum.
The first version of Shum was very interesting story. We shoot in this video in our iPhone, but the weather and nature help us to do it. Because in this day was...
It was very foggy.
It's like the folklore was on your side.
It's just having the Rusalachki on your side, right?
I met old women from villages around Chernobyl, and they show me Rusalachki. So Rusalachki is the spirits of a forest, and they help to good people, but they are danger for people which make bad things. The song is based on old ritual, which I saw when I was in Chernobyl area. And the song is about people who lost their homes and their place in the world.
Well, there is this big debate among Eurovision fans as to whether to rely on juries or televoters to select songs. Shum was such a popular favorite, but there was a discrepancy between televote and jury vote. So I wonder if you have any thoughts about what the best process is for selecting a song.
You need to know that we are not upset. We are happy with everything what happened in our lives after Eurovision. It's more interesting than be just a winner of Eurovision.
I think that winning Eurovision put some kind of a label on you. We're just a band. We just play our music, and we still play at really big festivals across Europe. And Eurovision got us the first real push. But Eurovision also has this thing as a one-song artist.
It was not our goal to win Eurovision. Our goal was to meet people who help us to do what we do. We had a lot of fans in different countries. We can sing in Ukrainian language, and people understand what we're trying to say. I don't need to change my values, my language. I just can be myself, and thank you, Eurovision, for this.
I think that can sometimes be the danger of having your goal to just win, because you might lose yourself in the process. Yes, there's winners, but then there's also iconic performances. Fifth place is obviously amazing, but your performance goes down as like an iconic Eurovision performance.
Particularly in the context we're in right now, because Putin's whole thing is to kind of erase Ukrainian history and erase Ukrainian culture. How do you navigate the connection between telling your personal story and how that personal story can sort of like reflect a larger project?
Since the start of the Soviet Union, people were executed just for singing Ukrainian songs. It's very important to us that we can speak in Ukrainian, that we can sing in Ukrainian, that we can show our Ukrainian music and culture to the world, because it's our national identity, our culture. When we have shows in UK, in Netherlands, in Scandinavia, and we sing in Ukrainian language, and basically people don't understand what we're singing about, but they understand our emotions.
It really ties right into this last year's competition, where the war kind of had to be quite present with the UK hosting on behalf of Ukraine. You were back on stage at Eurovision. Can you talk about sort of what was that experience like?
I felt myself much better than in 2021 when we go to stage. It was just we're big Eurovision stars from Ukraine.
It's a perfect role. It doesn't get better than that.
I think like every piece of this year's Eurovision just was a reminder why it's going on in UK, not in Ukraine. There was a big balloon-like statue of a nightingale. And basically our song for Eurovision 2020 was called Nightingale, Soloway.
Eurovision has often tried to stay away from politics. That's in their rules that they can't be a political song. But last year, it really seemed like it was moving in a new direction. You know, the war was acknowledged on stage in the interval acts, and bands and artists were free to speak out. At the same time, there were reports that the EBU refused to let Zelensky speak at the contest. How do you think Eurovision can best use its platform right now in this current time?
It's not about politics. It's about our lives. When people say that you don't need to say something political things in the stage, for us, war, it's not political. Because we lost our friends. This war, it's not a statistic. It's not political for us.
I think we have to remember that Eurovision contest itself was established after World War II as a message of unity and peace across Europe. That's what we're talking right now, because since the establishment of Eurovision, a lot of new generations had been born, and a lot of those people, they thought and they still think that simple things like freedom, for example, is something that you just take for granted. Reality shows us that it can be taken away just like this. In Ukraine, right now, we're not only fighting for our freedom or for our land or for our culture. I think we're also fighting for the right of democracy to exist. A lot of countries in Europe, they understand that if Ukraine falls, they are next.
Eurovision fans know Shum very well, but you guys have a lot of other songs. So we just wanted to talk about a few of them, particularly because they are drawing on folklore and people coming to it without that context. I think it could be very, very helpful. Can you talk about Kateryna a little bit?
So at first, Kateryna is a symbol of Ukraine, but now it means our fights as well. Kateryna is a winter-berry tree which always strong. Even in a cold winter, strong like Ukrainians. We have our own culture, we have our different values, and we will fighting for it because we don't want to be a part of Russia.
Speaking from our perspective, both people who don't speak Ukrainian, something that we've always loved about Eurovision is you'll hear a song and we love to hear it in the original language, and then we look up the meaning, and then you see how much deeper it goes.
We had a lot of messages from our fans that after they have heard our songs, they started to learn Ukrainian language.
Wow.
Basically, our lyrics is not something you can handle with just Google Translate or something, because you really need to do some research to understand what the lyrics are about. And people actually do that. They really discover some new things about our culture, maybe about themselves also.
Moving to Dumala, what an incredible lyric. In telling the story, you really forefronted the idea that the rich man would take this girl away from her home, away from her roots, and the man she actually loved stayed and fought. Can you talk about the inspiration for drawing on that fairy tale and what you wanted to bring out in the adaptation?
So the inspiration comes from real life. And that is all what you need to know.
I don't know, Kate. We need more than that. Give us the story.
It's like how to say a lot and also nothing.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. This was amazing.
Thank you so much. This was wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
All the mysteries of the Euroverse.